Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Generation in Between, a Zennial podcast. You are here on our last episode for now of our boy band series. I'm Katie.
And I'm Danny, and I'm still struggling with this setup. So bear with me.
If you didn't listen to the last episode yet, we have a table and
it's
new
not
chairs.
that big a deal. I don't know why it's throwing my whole universe off when we're recording.
Yeah, you're gonna get it. You're gonna get
Katie
it.
loves it so much.
I love it so much.
Why do you love it?
I don't know. I just feel like I can be like closer to you because we have that table between us. And I don't know. I like having my notes in front of me, not like shuffling them around on my lap. I feel like I can like look up more than I could.
Okay. I feel like maybe you have dreams of being a newscaster.
I mean, probably.
I think that's it.
I'd be happy to. Thank you for asking.
I just was watching our, trying to make little clips for socials. I'm like, what am I even doing with my hands? I'm doing weird stuff the whole time. I was putting my hands on the table. I kept putting my hands, I never sit with my hands on my face. Why was I doing that? That is not something I do.
You were just so intrigued by my storytelling.
I was crossing my hands like a cat in front of me.
Yeah. Well,
what?
This is your big cat moment. It's time.
I don't know.
Well,
Katie has a notebook today.
Okay. Yes. Let's start there. There's a lot we need to talk about probably, but if you're watching on the YouTube, born in the 80s, there's a bunch of multicolored mixtapes on the front. Friend, loyal listener of the pod, Sarah, bought me this for my birthday, which was earlier this week.
I love me a useful birthday present.
Several notebooks, actually, but I decided since it's my birthday week, born in the 80s, I'm going to start with this notebook. And I have my notes for today and for Dawson's Creek.
Oh, my God.
Yes,
I'm shocked. There's
right
no
in
envelopes. There's no random. Although she
now. Hold on.
Oh, no.
Because
did you see that?
Did you see
I did.
that?
That's cheating.
This has nothing to do with the podcast. It's just a piece of paper I need for later that has some stuff on it, and I didn't want to forget it. So here it is. But that's good. The notebook's keeping it all in one spot.
Is there money falling out of the front?
No.
Katie did not be able to find her key when her husband was dropping her off.
Yes. That's because I was busy eating a burrito and it fell in my seat.
This is why it's always hilarious watching Katie arrive somewhere or if you go travel with her. Because she has obviously she's here working all day. So she's got a lot of stuff going on. She has to bring food. She got all her music. She got podcast stuff, everything else. But it's always when you're unpacking your stuff, it's almost like you're surprised at what you find. Every time it's wait, no, it's not. And I'm you literally just put stuff in that bag.
I will say Wednesdays are my day at home. So what happens on Wednesdays is I tend to grab things that I know I'll need the next day. So I am putting stuff in my bag as I go.
So you already did it the day before.
So I knew I needed to give you the Star Wars shirt back. So that got folded up and put in there yesterday. And then the microphone I grabbed out of Brant's backpack because he'd been holding on to that after the book reading. So I put that in there. And so it kind of stacks up. But Sarah could vouch for that too. She handed me many a thing while traveling. I'd be standing there with my bags with the children waiting for the next step, and she'd bring me my purse.
Oh, Lord,
she brought me my phone one.
Lord help you there, because I'll never forget that time we were at that hotel. She could not find her ID, and it was all she had was a belt bag, and I'm where is all this stuff coming from?
I'm glad you said that because I took my daughter to an eye appointment yesterday and didn't have my ID, so I need to track that down. I know. They still let her do the appointment.
Where your ID should be in your bag all the time.
I opened my wallet. My cards were in it. So I think I must have taken it out. You know how sometimes, I'm going to blame the apps, how sometimes you have to do a picture of your ID now for verification?
Oh, I hate that, yeah.
I think that's what happens.
Let's blame the apps.
I set it by my desk.
It's got to be the apps, guys.
It's the apps. It's not me. Okay.
Got to be.
I will say, the notebook, step one. I did clean and reorganize my entire closet yesterday, so it's easy to get what I need to wear when.
What does that have to do with the notebook?
Well, what I'm saying is part of that closet cleaning is, you had mentioned we have this podcast bag, is to go ahead and now make some designated bags.
I see.
So put the notebook in the bag. I didn't get to that step today.
I was you didn't bring that bag.
No, but it's
okay.
coming.
It's
one
coming,
thing
guys.
at a time, step by step,
Yeah.
habit stacking.
You're right.
Is what I'm going to call it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Habit stacking.
I know that I'm bringing my notebook, so I shall also bring my bag.
Love that.
With all the things. So for this week, we didn't do research. In fact, other than watching the 4-part docuseries, A Boy Band Confidential.
Well, I only watched 3 parts because Hulu did not have the 4th part.
I can talk about it a
Okay,
little.
that's fine.
You should watch it at some point. I would say it's the lightest of the 4, so you'd probably enjoy it.
Thank God, because let me well, we'll get there, but
Yeah, some of this was heavy because, there's storytelling, but the 4th one was similar to the 3rd one. It was just, like, extra stories that didn't make it into the first 2
oh,
parts,
okay.
but a lot of them were pretty light.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll watch it
except
eventually
for
when
one thing.
Hulu gets it because, it's a I guess it was on HBO,
It was on HBO,
but
yeah.
Hulu, it's delayed.
Mm,
So, as of yesterday, it may be there today, but I ain't got time.
that's okay.
So, I was like,
Eventually watch it,
yesterday
yeah.
I had time. Y'all, I'm in tech week. I'm about to die. I'm so tired. Like, listen, if y'all are not in theater and you don't know what tech week is,
What is Tech Week? Tell me.
I mean, it's basically you're running the show as much as you can, fixing everything up until you open. But it is long and it is tiring. And especially when it's just community theater and you still have regular life. Like I'm not paid to do like this is not my
Right.
paid job because even in paid performer life, Tech Week's rough.
Of course.
Yeah, it's the show's gonna be great, but it's a big show, so it's tiring. Like,
Mhm.
it's tiring no matter how big the show is, but I'm like, I was not this tired when I was in Tech Week for just a straight play. Like, that's more,
Yeah.
like, vocally tiring because 'cause you're talking, I think, or maybe not even because this one you're singing and dancing. I don't know.
But what you said about it being a big show is true. Like,
Yeah.
you can even do a musical that's minimal to medium lift, but you do a Shrek and
Oh,
everyone, well, not everyone, but a lot of people are in multiple costumes, wigs. The set pieces are huge. There's
guys,
puppets, there's all kinds of things. It's a huge
guys,
show.
we have a 400-pound dragon that I'm helping
See what
puppet.
I mean?
That is crazy.
You didn't have that in Move Over, Miss
No,
Marple.
and I was thinking Christmas Carol. I chilled in that dressing room more than I was on the stage. But I mean, I love this. I love it. I love this kind of show. I really don't even have a break until SNK like Act 2 at some point. Even intermission, I'm changing and grabbing I have 4 wigs, maybe 5. Hold on, it's crazy. A wig quick change. Have you ever done a wig quick change?
I don't
Stressful,
think so.
girl. It is stress.
Oh my God.
Stress because we have these beautiful wigs. Shout out to Mo who has made I don't even know.
For this show, probably a
Oh my
ton.
god. Because everybody has multiple
Yeah.
and some of them are elaborate. Like I have a Rapunzel wig, elaborate. This queen wig, so you like I can't just rip it off, is what I
Right.
mean.
Right.
My elf wig will. She got a different story, and that one's
I can't wait
okay.
for that. I don't think I'm gonna I definitely will be there by closing weekend,
That's
obviously,
fine.
but I might be able to come the weekend before. It's just graduation weekend,
Girl,
so
you
I
come
don't wanna,
whenever.
like, in case although, to be honest, graduation's on a Friday. She probably be with her friends all weekend.
I
So I
mean,
probably could come that Saturday, but I'm just gonna wait and see because I can't wait to see it.
the longer you wait, the better.
I mean, there is that too, and I've gone to shows where I've gone, like, opening night or invited dress, and then I go back the
And you're
final
like,
weekend, and I was like, "Oh, okay.
Troy
They
always
got
likes
it."
to go. Well, he always comes to invited dress when we're in a show, but then he likes to come back on closing night
Mhm.
because he's like, it's so fun to see. He's like, it's always good, but it's so fun to see the difference
Yeah.
because by then, and he doesn't know, he's not a performer, because then you know the show like the back of your hand.
Right.
You got your quick changes down, you
Mhm.
know when you can pee, like you're
Mhm.
comfortable, and at this point, you've built relationships with the cast, so you're having fun. And plus, it's your last time.
Mhm.
And I think that says a lot. When you know it's your last show, everybody just kinda be like, give it not like you don't always, but y'all know what I mean if
I
you're a
know what you
performer.
mean. It's like there's, like, that little bit of whatever left emotion that you didn't even know you had that's
Correct.
in there, and you pull it
Correct.
out. Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Well, I can't wait.
can I tell you y'all wanna hear I'll tell y'all some funny stories about Tech Week
Let's
instead of
go.
just complaining how tired I am. So, if y'all seen Shrek the Musical, there's a tap dancing rat scene,
Mhm.
okay? And this isn't ruining anything because you can look it up on the dang YouTube. It starts off with you just seeing feet, and then you see the whole and it's different dancers, we come in at different times, but we're dressed as, like, fancy rats,
Mhm.
okay? Well, the other night was our first night with all our accoutrement, including a snap-on tail. That's very long. This wonderful lady, Tracy, is dancing next to me. We're, like, the 2 oldest in that number, so we're just holding it down the best we can, guys. Her tail flies off. Now, if you're not a theater person nor a dancer, you have to if something is on the ground when dancing is happening or movement is happening, you have to get it off the stage as soon
Mhm.
as possible. That is like safety is first. Like you
Mhm.
don't have to hit your choreo. So I see her tail fly off and I'm like, okay, she's gonna grab that, right? And she's right next to me, so the tail is like right there in between us. Like, she's gonna grab that, right? She's not grabbing it. So I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna grab it. So I grab it, but I'm in the middle of the stage. So I can't, I have a shitty throw. So I'm like, I can't throw it because then it might hit somebody.
It'll still be on stage.
So I'm dancing with the rat tail in my hand for like the whole song. And then I go over to this, I finally move spots and I get to the side of the stage where I can throw it and I toss it as hard as I can. But Shrek's standing there about to make an entrance. I almost hit him with
Oh
this
my
giant
God.
whip of a rat tail. It was so funny. And I was like, well, okay. And that number was funny. There was like, it was almost like we were like rats that were rotting on stage because there were tails falling off. There was feet flying.
Oh my gosh.
Cummerbunds
They're like
everywhere.
coming apart.
We're like, what is this sewer rat? What is this happening? But anyway, Tech Week, it is grueling. I'm tired. That dragon is amazing.
Ugh, I can't wait.
But we tired.
I feel like tonight's a little bit of a payoff, right? Because it's
you have an
invited
audience.
dress, and the first time you have an audience helps.
It does.
even though you're
The energy.
tired. Yeah,
The energy. And I was talking to Chase, who's playing Shrek, last night, and I was like, keep it up. We were like almost to the end of Act 2. I was like, you're almost there. You're doing great. And he's like, and you know, it's a lot. Like him and Fiona are busy, and Donkey, those three, they don't leave the stage much. But he's also wearing prosthetics and like a giant fake belly. And
Oof,
that's
yeah.
exhausting. Like that is physically draining.
yeah.
So I was like, you're almost there. And he looked at me and he's like, yeah, I need an audience. He's like, he's like,
Somebody make me feel
I know.
good
He's
about
like,
all this.
it's time. He's like,
Yeah.
we need an audience. And I'm like, I know, you're right. Because it's
Mhm.
hard when you're acting to nothing. And it's a funny show. So like,
Right.
when you just, and like Jared and Dom have seen this too. Nobody's laughing. They know what's coming.
Right.
It ain't
And
fun.
they're looking at it from a technical standpoint, right? Like they're
Yeah.
looking for the details and stuff.
You
They're
know,
not
as a director.
enjoying the story. Although I was just talking to my team here, I had done sound for one of our recent productions because and
so hard.
then the director, and I mean it was fine. Wait, did I do? Yeah, okay. I was like, wait, did I do sound? Yes, I
Yes.
did. And but my problem, and this is something I would have to correct if I ever want a career in the tech booth, I would just get so wrapped up in the show.
Oh,
I'd
shit.
be watching the show.
You're like,
and I would hear Brooke, who's the director, next to me go 3, 2, 1, like about to go, and I'd be like, where am I?
Katie.
So I finally was like, you just have to like follow the book.
That's so hard.
Not the actors.
I
In
know.
some cases you were waiting for a cue from the actors, but I would just be like enjoying the show.
She's like, oh, they sound so great.
And then here comes my cue, and I'm like, what cue?
What do you mean? What am I
is it?
doing?
Yeah, hello?
I'm telling you, there's these trees that move around a lot in the show. Like tech stuff stresses me the fuck out. I could never do it. And I tell them all the time, y'all are amazing. I couldn't do it. It's too hard. Like, yes, performing is hard, but that shit's harder because that
is really hard.
Listen, you have to, and it's critical. If you put something a centimeter in the wrong spot, you can fuck up an actor or a scene. You can break shit. You can break people. Like, it is so, and we have these trees that roll around a lot. And I swear they're the bane of our all existence. Like, we are never getting them in the right spots. I have to do a whole scene where me and Gina are moving around these trees at different points in the music, and Donkey and Shrek are dancing around them. So like, and we can't see. So we fucking up Donkey down.
No more Donkey.
And he's a little guy. I was like, the trees are the bane, but it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. But anyway,
it's going to be fantastic.
If you're also watching, I have another star because my skin's like stressful week. Cool. Zits. Let's add.
You got your little star patch. It's great.
Let's talk about this documentary.
All right, let's do it. Okay. So let me just talk a little bit about it. So Boy Band Confidential, like I said, I watched it on HBO Max, where all 4, it's only 4-part series, are there. Danny's been watching it on Hulu when it shows up.
Yeah.
It's a little warm in here.
I'm
still.
sweating. Well, also,
we cooling off,
I'm
but
drinking
not
coffee,
fast enough.
So
yeah.
I'm just also hot right now.
And it was executive produced by Joey Fatone of NSYNC fame. That being said, it's interesting because I felt like there was a lot of inclusion of certain boy groups, but then some that weren't mentioned, which I'm sure there's some who like didn't agree.
Want to. Yeah.
And even within the groups, Joey and Lance from NSYNC were on it, but none of the other 3 were on it. Other than like old video of them or photos, but they weren't on it. And the only Backstreet Boy was AJ.
I know.
But then there were 2 guys from 98 Degrees. And then there were a few other like O-Town, which was a little bit like past, the 90s and stuff.
Well,
but
I'm not surprised that Nick Carter is not on it. because he
Mhm.
got a lot of legal problems, and there's been a lot of like documentaries against him. So I bet he was like,
Yeah.
I'm not
Not even
even.
putting myself out there. I don't
Yes.
blame him. And that being said, I guess if you had, like, literally every member of every group, it would just be way too long anyway. I'm just curious, like, if I feel like Joey probably asked way more people than actually
Oh,
showed up
I'm
on the show.
sure. I'm
But
sure.
anyway, I thought the whole thing overall was really well done. We'll get into it. Okay, so
Do
the
you know?
first episode, yeah,
Wait.
go.
Do you know what I wish he would have talked to? Is I wish he would have talked to somebody from New Kids because
I
they
know, that
talked
was
about
weird,
them
right?
so much in the
I
beginning.
know.
And I'm like, I wonder if they even asked because it seems like at least one would talk to them.
Easily, like, they're pretty open about everything. The only thing
Yeah.
I can think is it was very Lou Pearlman coded. Like, it wasn't a documentary about Lou Pearlman, but it kind of was a documentary about
Yeah.
Lou Pearlman, and it was almost all, like, Orlando groups. 98 Degrees was an exception, I guess.
Well,
But,
and Boys to Men.
and Boys to Men, that's true. But, I don't know if that had something to do with it or if they just wanted that, like, turn of the century, late 90s, and, I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting because I would have thought the new kids, and they all, like, gave props to the new kids.
I
Like, they were
know
like, "Oh, they're amazing," and I had the same thought,
because
like,
they were like, they started
Donnie
it.
Wahlberg's butt'll be on here talking about it.
Right.
Why not?
I
Like,
know. I thought it was weird.
just ask him.
Wipe your eye. It's that eye
Again,
this time.
is this eye? Is it
No, it's underneath.
underneath?
I think it's just mascara
Oh,
fluid.
yeah.
It'd be doing that on my face all
Okay.
the time.
Yeah.
You good?
Got it. Okay.
It was the other eye, guys.
This is crazy. I'm evening it out.
It's evened
Okay.
out.
So episode 1 was about an hour and 20 minutes, I'd say. I did say I felt validated because Boys to Men are on it.
I know. I was glad they were.
They were on it. And they did say, like,
They
some of
did
the quotes
say.
I had where they were like, "We really aren't a boy
Yeah.
band," but so many of the boy bands referenced them.
Right. I think that's
That I was like, it's good that they were on here, and some of the struggles they talked about, and they talked about their manager being killed on tour.
that was awful.
It's terrible. So I was glad, and it was all 3. See, that's the thing. There were 3 of them,
Was there?
just
I thought
not
it was just
Michael.
2 of them. I thought
It
it was
was
just 2 of them.
Wanye, Sean. Oh, was it just
I
the
think
2
it
of
was just the
them?
2 of them.
Okay,
Yeah.
you're right. It was just the 2.
It was just the 2 of them. But, I am glad that he brought them on. I'm glad they agreed to do it, but I love how, like, Boyz II Men's like, "Well, hold on. Y'all need to know we're not really a boy band.
Yeah.
Like, we're here, but, like, we're different than y'all." And I'm like, "You are." I also am glad that they addressed the whole race component
Yes.
because so many of these all Caucasian, well, mostly Caucasian white people groups. I mean, AJ and Howie
And then O-Town had a few.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
Well, I
before.
guess I'm just talking about like NSYNC and Backstreet
Mhm.
and 98 Degrees. And they're like, oh, Boys to Men. And we'll talk about them when we get there. Is our influence, which is fine. You should be influenced by multiple groups. But I think the problem was recognizing, and they said it. I don't remember if it was Sean or
I think it was
Wanye,
Sean.
but they're like, they're doing what we did, but like they're out here making the money and like getting these things we didn't
Yeah.
get. And he even said, I think it was Sean who said, well, you think about the mass appeal and, some white boy and a boy band and teen beat is more acceptable to middle class family on the wall than, a black man and Boys to
Mhm.
Men. And I was like, I'm glad that they kept that in.
I mean,
Like, if you think that racism is not prevalent in every industry in this country, you're wrong. And that, I mean, it's glaringly obvious, especially during that time, where the money went to who we were elevating, whose voices. But it's crazy because it's like, and I mean, this has been happening since the beginning of music. I mean, look at Elvis. All his stuff he stole from other people and black people directly. But then he's the one that benefited.
right. Yeah, and I think Sean listed a few other people too that
He
was like
did.
the same kind of
He
thing. I
did.
can't remember who exactly, but yeah, I mean, I thought that was really important. I think it's great that so many people in the documentary did reference their influence, but yeah, that was a whole thing. I said it was weird too that we were seeing people who we had researched, like that Johnny Wright guy,
I
the
know.
manager. I was like, oh, this is weird.
How
like,
did it? What's your opinion on him?
I was going to ask you the same thing. I didn't really love him. But in the very final one, which you haven't seen yet, he redeemed himself a little.
Okay, because he comes across as not the best.
And he's like, I told Kevin he couldn't go to that party.
Right.
Did you hear that story?
Oh, yeah,
I think that was on the third one.
That was on the third one.
Third one. Kevin was of age and wanted to go to this party. And he's like, I told security to yank him out of there.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And I get it. But then that was a little like, okay, whatever. you are supposed to kind of protect them, whatever. But when he was talking about like the pitting of Backstreet Boys against
That
NSYNC,
that
and he was like, well, I told them, like, the Backstreet Boys, like, if you don't want me, that's fine. But then I'm gonna come at you with
that.
NSYNC. At least if I'm managing both of you, I can kind of. And I was just like, geez,
But again, I mean, in the business world, I guess you have to be
yeah,
like that if you wanna make money, so
yeah. He wasn't my
he
favorite.
wasn't my favorite either.
I didn't hate him, but I was like, I don't know about this guy. He seems
He
kind of
just came across to me as, like, very, I don't know, I can't think of the right word. He wasn't very humble, and he wasn't very, like, authentic with his care for them.
yeah,
Like, I felt like they were just all the groups were just dollar signs, even though but then every now and then he'd say something, like when they were talking about
yeah.
Aaron Carter dying, and
Hmm.
he was visibly upset. I mean, as
Hmm.
he should be. So I don't know. He was kind of what this is my thing in life. Katie and I have talked about this. When I can't figure people out, I don't like it. Like I don't when people are not open books and I'm not sure where you land, I don't like that. I don't
I
like
think
that,
that's the
and that's
deal
how
with
he is.
him.
I don't know where he is,
Yeah.
so I just meh.
Now, he talked a little more about, so this is the part where I was kinda like, "All right, maybe we have a little redemption arc for him at the very end."
You
But
could just tell me.
they talked more about, Aaron Carter's death, and they told the whole story of how Aaron would come, like, to stuff that Nick was
No, that was
at.
in the 3rd
Oh, that
one.
was in the 3rd one?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay. And so I felt like Johnny Wright was taking a little bit of responsibility for the way that Fame kinda chewed Aaron up and spit him back out, because maybe this was in the 4th one. He was talking about it, and he was like, "I'm the one that told
No,
his
that was the
mom
3rd
that," like,
one.
yeah, and then he was like, "I feel bad
Yeah.
that, like, I introduced him to whatever." Now, of course, like, someone would have spotted this kid like this, but even then, Johnny Wright was like, "But,
I
it's
know.
because they didn't keep me as a manager,
Right,
so I
that's what I'm
couldn't
saying.
control it," and I was like, well, which is it?
Well, which one is it?
Are you mad about that, or are you actually upset that this kid went through all this and then
Right.
died?
That's we already
That was
talked about
crazy.
that tragedy, but
So, I think I figured it out later, but I wrote
okay.
down this in the opening of the first one, Joey is in the recording house, the one that has the bowling
Yeah, yeah,
alley,
yeah. In Orlando,
and
yeah.
I'm like, is this house just, like, frozen in time?
I think it I think it was repossessed or something when he went to jail.
But you know what I remembered from my research? They they didn't stay with Lou, they stayed with Johnny Wright. So I wonder if that's Johnny
Oh.
Wright's house and he's just left it or they repositioned it. Him and his wife,
That's
they
right.
would go over there to rehearse and bowl and
Right.
yeah, because I remember the two-lane bowling alley was in there. So it must be Johnny's house.
I guess
So
so.
maybe that's how they got in there. But I had the same thought because if they would have repossessed it, you would have thought they would have took all that stuff
True
that was in
facts.
there.
Well, not
So,
like that other you haven't watched the Backstreet Boys documentary. They go to Lou Pearlman's actual house,
oh wow.
and they're, like, looking in the windows and stuff,
Oh
and
dang.
they actually got in, and it was just, like, abandoned.
Okay. Interesting. But I think the way that Joey got into
But
this house is
that
because Johnny probably
right. Well,
still
I mean, it wasn't
lives
kept up.
there or owns it or whatever.
It
Yeah.
was it was
Right.
abandoned.
Well, the way they showed it though when Joey was in there, it was kind of dark and shadowy. So that's what
Oh.
made me think that. But I bet it's just his normal house.
But they
Well,
did that
anyway,
on purpose. I mean, they made it look like that on purpose, I'm
um,
sure.
I said too, like what Sean said about white artists singing black music. 98 Degrees to feed
Oh,
into this.
let's talk about that.
They were like, yeah, first of all, they said they were the first white boy group that Motown ever signed.
Is that true,
I
though?
can't imagine that is true.
I think it must be.
Wow.
Well,
Not the first white
do
artist.
you have your phone? Look it up
Yeah,
real
I'll look
quick.
it up. But they said they were supposed to be the white Jodeci.
Right. Which that is
Yikes.
so problematic. I mean, you should be like I said, you should be inspired. You should listen to all kinds of music and you should be inspired by multiple groups of people, but you have no business emulating a whole people group that has been dehumanized and pushed to the side and had laws against them. Like that's not
Mhm.
okay. That's not okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and they were from Ohio.
Right. Some Midwestern boys. Midwestern boys. Come on.
Alright, so it was not the first white act on the label, but they were heavily pushed by executives to become a white Jodeci.
Well, and here's the other thing they
So
did
they
to
weren't the
them,
first ones.
which they didn't talk about, but they had them dress in styles that were, like, part of Black culture and had well, not really hairstyles, but, like, they tried to have them have, like, this Black culture
Mm,
persona, but they're white.
right. Very
And
clearly
that is
white.
so problematic because that is cultural appropriation 101. Like,
Yeah.
that is cultural appropriation 101. That's like putting on somebody else's cultural things as a costume.
Yeah.
That's not who you
Well, and I
are.
think it was Jeff from 98 Degrees said that it really started not the cultural appropriation per se, but having to put on this image that didn't feel like
But
him
that is.
really
Well,
weighed
he
on
didn't say
him.
it is
He
cultural
didn't say that,
appropriation, but
but
that's
he
what it
just that
is.
is what it is, but he was just saying that it really was hard.
It should
It hurt
be.
his mental health
Yeah, because that's not
because
right.
he was just like, "This why can't I?" And he said it hurt his self-esteem because he kind of was thinking like, "Why can't I just be me?"
Right. Well,
Right?
right. But also, I wanted to say this. One of the first things I wrote down was all these males have aged pretty well,
Very good looking.
especially boys to men.
Okay, really good looking.
Come on,
Sean,
Wanye.
I know. I always had the biggest crush on Wanye, but I
He
mean,
looks
he
exactly
looked
the
really good.
same.
But Sean looked real good.
I was like,
Okay.
how do they look the same? Nick Lachey looks the same. He
Yeah.
got a few wrinkles on his forehead. We do too.
What I loved about Nick was that.
He
I
looks
was like, "Oh,
exactly the
he it doesn't
same.
look like he's had Botox or anything."
Now, the
Like
other dude looks a little different because he's
Jeff,
very tan.
he's very
I
tan.
think he must do
He
bodybuilding.
must because he had you could see like the veins in his forehead and stuff, and that's fine. But
I think
like,
he must, and I was like, I wanted to look it up, and I ran out of time
mhm.
because he has that self-tan that bodybuilders do for
Uh-huh.
competitions,
Yeah, and he's
and
buff.
he's very, very
Yeah,
in shape.
clearly.
Speaking of that, we'll get to O-Town, but why did they keep showing Ashley working out?
I don't know, that
That
was
was
weird.
so weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, "What?" I'm like, I get it, like, he works in fitness now,
Yeah.
but, like,
Yeah, maybe that's why.
but
Maybe that's what he wanted
that's
them
a
to
weird
do to
monta
get more business. I'm sure he's getting plenty of business. I don't
no,
know.
guys.
Yeah, that was
Anyway.
weird. The what did you think of the Joey Lance gay story?
Oh, see, that's what I was telling you.
Yeah.
But I was like as soon as they started talking, I was like, "Oh, he's gonna walk in on him with a guy. I
Mhm.
know it. I know it."
Yeah.
And it was innocent. They weren't I mean, he was just they were just sitting there with, like
Right.
but I was like but then how I just again, it made me so sad for Lance that he had to hide it, or he felt like he had to hide himself. But then I'm glad he had a trusted person, and I'm glad that Joey's reaction was what it was
Yeah.
and not something else. And you know what? I had a similar not really similar, but when I went to college, a friend of mine from high school also went well, we were friends, but we weren't like super close friends. We went to the same college and we were living in the dorm and we had not signed up to be roommates together. And when we got there, we're like, oh, we should see if we can. Sometimes you can change rooms. We're like, oh, we should do that. She was like, well, I need to tell you, like, if you want to do that, like, I'm gay. And I was like, okay, that's
Yeah.
fine. And she's like, is that okay with you? I'm like, of course. Like, why would it not be okay with me?
Like you mean you're not going to bring strange men
I know.
into our room?
I was
That
like,
sounds awesome.
I mean, I don't I have no problems with that.
Yeah.
Actually, her girlfriend at the time, they're married. They're still married
Aw,
today. Yeah, I
that's so
know.
cute.
They're still together. They have the cutest little love story. I love it so much. But anyway, and I remember that thinking like that made me sad. So sad
Mhm.
for her, thinking how scary that must be to want to tell somebody and then be like, "Oh god, what are they going to do?" And I'm sure that's how he felt.
And to be, like, on the public
The
stage
public
like
eye.
that. And later, I don't know if this is fourth one or not, if you heard it, it must have been before that, Lance does say that he made it through all of that
Yeah.
being the persona that was the shy one, because then
Then
he was just
could.
shy, but he was like, "But I'm not shy."
Right.
And so it was totally against, like, who I actually am, but I was afraid to, like, talk too much or do whatever and then kinda be found out, so I was okay just kinda shrinking back into that role
Ugh.
to be safe, you know?
I
So,
know.
poor
It's
guy.
really sad.
And he said the thing oh, yeah, this was on that one where his parents have been kicked out of several churches.
Right. Right.
Which
Also
sucks.
disgusting and also why,
Yeah,
right.
it's not fun.
I know. I had my youngest has been So we used to go to church and then I left the church, and that's a whole long story. And that would be like a whole episode
Whole other.
series on its own.
Maybe we'll do a
Nope,
different
don't
one.
want to do
Nope,
that.
we're not going to. That and
That is too
my cult
much.
story. I
Oh,
don't
I
know.
know.
Could make for good listening.
People
Just
really want to
saying.
know your cold story. We
I
get asked
know.
about it all the time.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that is not my story to tell. That is hers. So, anyways, we'd be bringing all kinds of people down if we sat here and just said, here's our religious trauma. Boom.
Yeah. I mean, people listen to true crime, so they could
I
listen to
don't.
our religious trauma.
Well, we'll see. One
We'll
day if
see.
we're feeling
We'll
really
see.
in our anyways, my youngest was like, might want to go to church with some friends. I said, you need to tell me what church this is so I can look it up. I mean, I don't like I was like, you need to understand, and he's 13. So I'm like, you need to understand, like there's a bigger story
Mhm.
here that you need to know. And I said, but I need to know where this church stands. So tell me which church it is.
Mm.
As
That's a good
soon
place to start.
as soon as I looked at what they believe in, I said, absolutely not. This is an anti-LGBTQIA church, but it is said in guarded language that you don't know how to look for.
Right.
And I said, I know exactly what they mean by this, and this.
Mm.
No. And he was like, what? He's like, but I didn't know. I said, that's why it's not that simple of a
Right.
thing. Now listen, y'all out there are entitled to believe what you want to believe. You do you, but as long as it's not hurting other people.
Yeah. And also, you can have whatever religious conversations with your kids that you want
That's true.
within
You
your home.
absolutely can.
That's-
But I mean, you're on the flip side, if you're teaching your kids certain amounts of values, no matter what they are, whether they're religious or not,
Mhm.
you don't want to put them in a space that goes against what you believe is right.
Correct.
So, and that's on either side of the coin, whether you're a church person or not church person or a here, there, nowhere person. Anyways,
Okay.
I feel bad for
Going
Linus.
back, I do too. I thought it was interesting when they talked about that Disney special, the one that NSYNC ended up doing. In my research, I found that it was because Brian was recovering from his heart
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I found
But they
too.
didn't mention
didn't
it.
say that.
They were just like, "Oh, we gave it to NSYNC," and I was like,
That's
"But
not exactly true.
because Brian was sick."
Yeah, he was still getting over his.
It wasn't, and the way they framed it made it sound like they picked NSYNC over back. They being like the managers of both groups, and I'm like, I don't actually think that's what happened. Right? I think it's because
Right.
Backstreet Boys literally couldn't do it.
Right.
But either way, that was the
Whatever.
thing that helped NSYNC grow up, all the things.
Well,
did you catch that line about how they were all given age of consent books? Did you hear that? When they were on tour, they were
no, I
given
missed that.
a document or a book or a brochure or something of the age of consent in every state.
Because
And I said, gross.
y'all know it's different everywhere. And I didn't know
Mhm.
that till a few years ago. And some states are fucking crazy.
It's real crazy. But also, like, if a state tells you 14 and you're 23, well, I guess
That's still illegal.
You're right. You're right. I don't know how that works, but it was like a quick mention. And I was like, oh, gross. What did you think about AJ's girlfriend making him meet his dad?
That was not okay.
I did not like that.
And she just fucking drops him off on
And
his
leaves.
porch and leaves.
What if that man walked out with a gun or something?
Exactly. And you don't know, like, also, you cannot spring something like that on a person. Now, thankfully, it ended up being okay.
It was.
But, like, girl.
I'm sure he was young, so I'm sure she was young.
I know.
She probably thought she was doing the right thing, and like that was more of like a happy surprise. But
girl, what?
That's a lot. And yeah, they seem like AJ and his dad have gone back. Like they met them, but then they didn't talk again for a while. Then he went and saw him when he was a solo artist, and he sang a song about him. That was kind of negative. That was negative. And his dad didn't say anything about it, so they didn't talk again, but now they are fine and on talking terms.
Family's complicated, guys.
It is.
If you don't have any family complication, then you're
God bless you.
You're in the minimal percentage of the world.
That's all I had for the first episode. What else did you say on that one specifically?
We've pretty much talked about it. I did say I forgot about some of these groups they talked about, like All for One. I'm like, I do not remember them.
Yeah, well, they had that big, I Swear was their big song.
Right. Well, I mean, I remembered that song, but I don't remember them like as a group. Like I remember that song, but I was like, oh, it was them? I didn't even, like, I don't know who I thought it was.
I remembered as soon as they started talking
Did
about
you?
them. I was like, oh, yeah, I remember those guys.
All right. So we're in episode 2, and this one, okay.
This was rough.
We're going to look, I'm using this table and I'm leaning on it.
Here she goes.
I got to take a second because our friend and listener, Anthony, told us to watch this series, and I really wish He would have told us, Anthony, you should have told us that this episode had what it had in it because it was very hard to digest. There was I'm gonna tell you all now, like, trigger warning times a million. There is a lot of talk of sexual assault and child abuse and molestation and awful things, and the victim, some of them talk about it in detail, and it was really hard, and not everybody I don't know, I am very, very sensitive to things with kids like that, and it gets me, like, physically nauseous, and I didn't my youngest and my husband were in there with me, we were watching, and it wasn't right away, but then it came on, and my husband he's like, I can't watch this," and then I finally looked at my youngest, I was like, "I don't think you need to hear this," like, now, I'm not saying victims should tell their stories however they need to and want to. You are 100% in your thing, in your right to do so, and you should for your healing if that is something that you feel good about.
Mhm.
But I just can't watch it. And sometimes hearing details of abuse is that's why I don't like true crime.
Yeah.
I just can't, to me, it almost feels like, what is the right word? What did I say to you the other day?
Exploit
Yeah,
exploitative,
that
tative,
of the
yeah.
victim, even if the victim is the one choosing to say it, I
Right.
just feel like yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
I
just
mean,
a trigger warning.
I agree. I will say, like, I did feel like my eyes were very much opened to some things by watching it that will help me, in my own, interactions with young people, particularly when it comes to the entertainment industry and stuff, and what I advise parents and that sort of thing. So I do think, it was very, very troubling, but it is real, and it's out there.
I know, and I'm not trying to say I just wanna cover my eyes and, like, I'm not. It's just very difficult for me for lots of reasons to listen to that, and,
Mhm.
like, it's just really and that right there, Katie texts me all caps, she's like, "Cooper is never joining a boy band," and I said, honestly, that there's a lot of reasons why I don't have him pursuing an agent or anything. He could. He's a talented kid. He's cute. He can sing, dance, act. And I've had a lot of people ask me about that in the performing world. I won't do it. I won't because there's too many people out there who prey on young entertainers and
Mhm.
or young people period
Right.
dot.
Yes.
And there's only so much we can do as parents to shield our kids from lots of things. I mean, sometimes we do our best and shitty things still happen, but I'm like, I just can't put him
Mhm.
in that position where his image is all over the place. I'm not doing it. When he is
Yeah.
of age, when he turns 18 and he wants to pursue things, he's an adult. That's great. But until then, mm-mm, mm-mm.
And yes, there's the abuse side, but also I think something this documentary reminded us of well is physical abuse aside,
Right.
the misuse of people
That, yeah.
for financial gain,
Right. They're just
right?
seen as a dollar sign.
Correct.
And the thing that killed me as a mom of boys, watching when they showed all the pictures of all these boy groups and they were so young, I'm looking at my kid who is their age, and I was like, I cannot imagine the pressure put upon you to do all these things. And I feel for the parents because people are like, oh, those parents are crappy. No, they probably are like, oh my God, this is a shot for my kid to have
Mhm.
like accomplish their dreams and you want to support them and you want to trust people.
Of course.
I think as human beings, we want to believe that people are good.
Yes.
And the thing is, predators are really good, or sneaky people are really good at making you think they are.
Right.
They're
So
great
from
liars.
an abuse perspective and just the other side, it's a long game.
It is.
It's not like the first time. There were a few examples of that where like the mom met the whoever and then was like sticking to their kid like glue. And then as time
Yeah.
went on,
They're grooming.
they distanced themselves because this was a trustworthy person. They'd proven themselves trustworthy
Right.
X amount of times. And that's true in real life
Oh, of
too,
course.
right?
Of course.
But in this case, the stakes are so high financially and power wise and all of
Power.
that. So
Well, it's awful.
that's what makes it, I guess, a little different than real life. But yeah, but it's a long game.
It
So
is.
I think people who are like, "Oh, well, I would never let my kid." Well, the first time you meet someone, if you get an off feeling, no, of course you wouldn't.
Right.
But
Of
6
course.
months, a year down the road, and your kid seems fine and everything, whatever, like, it's so I thought all of that was just a really good reminder. This might sound silly, but, like, my youngest really wants to go to overnight camp,
Oh.
and I just can't. I went to overnight camp and had a great
Oh, I
experience when
did,
I
and
was
I
a
hated
kid.
it. Nothing bad
I
happened to
loved
me. It was just
overnight.
outside stuff,
Yeah,
and I
oh, I
don't like
loved
it.
and she, and she wants to go for that reason. She's like, "I don't wanna go for, like, theater or anything. I wanna go do outdoor stuff because I can do theater here, mom," and she's right. And every year
I
she asks,
know.
and every year I'm just like, "Probably will be
I
fine," but
know.
if it's not, she's stuck there
Right. Right.
without a trusted person, and so and I tell her as much. Like, I'm like, I know you'll do great, but I worry about this, this, and this."
Right.
And it's just one of those things where it's like, if I can avoid taking that risk, kinda like you're saying with, like, an agent or entertainment or whatever,
Right.
then I'm gonna avoid it.
Well, and the thing is too, with abuse situations, we're getting like, I mean, unfortunately, this episode was very dark and heavy, so that's just where our conversation is going to land right now. It's most of the time, it is people you've known for a while.
Sure.
Almost all of the time, it's somebody you trust.
Mhm,
It's not just some random stranger. Not that that doesn't happen; it does, but it's because they have put in that process of making you think they're safe, and
mhm.
they're really good at it, and they put themselves in. And I mean,
Yeah.
we all have experienced something either ourselves or other people we know of coaches or teachers or babysitters that are trusted people,
Family
family
members.
members.
Yeah.
And it's just makes me I just have the hardest like as much as I joke around and be like, "Oh, I don't like kids." I have a very soft spot for kids when they are hurt. Like I will fight somebody to the death if you're trying to hurt a child.
Of
Like
course.
I will not, and that is just being a good human, I think, and,
Yeah.
like, and we should protect each other, and I don't know,
Yeah.
it was
This was
really
a rough
hard.
one, and just know that if you haven't watched it yet, I said, "The Brian guy from LFO is cute." LFO. Oh, yeah, wait, he had,
Oh,
like, the
yeah,
bandana,
but
but poor
the
guy.
tragic okay, so if y'all don't know this, everybody in LFO has passed away except one member.
Except for Brian.
They all died of some kind of cancer.
Just crazy. So, of course, he's mentioned he's like, "So you wonder, like, is LFO cursed? Am I next?"
Right,
Like, kinda thing. He said
because
all
that's
3 of them
so
died
bizarre.
under the age of 50.
Right, of
Yeah,
some kind of cancer.
yeah. He's very good looking, though.
He is very good looking,
Yeah.
and he was back then.
Yeah,
Like, he looks the same too.
he does.
But I'm
He does.
wondering if he's doing the whole Brett Michaels thing because he's losing his
That's what he
hair.
looked like.
Yeah, yeah,
He
yeah.
had, like, the
Which valid.
bandana, which I was okay.
Listen, I'm losing my hair. I get it.
It was working for me. Um, oh, someone said I think it was Brian, but it may have been somebody else mentioned that they said, "I was an adult." Oh, no, it was
It
Ashley
was Ashley.
from,
Oh,
yeah, saying that, you could look at it and be like, "Oh, I was an adult and I whatever," like, the grooming and all of that. He's like, "But I was still a young person and it was still a power play."
well, it doesn't matter. Okay, so you were a young adult. You were past the age of 18. Somebody was still victimizing you.
Correct. And I think that's what he was saying.
Right.
He
I
was like,
mean,
"It
you were
doesn't
still
matter."
being like that whole weird story about the massage.
Mhm. And how his manager was like, "Do not ever be in a room alone with Lou."
Something I had a hard time with a lot of these stories is a lot of the people they interviewed who were like staff members or
Mhm.
whatever, and they were like, "Well, we knew something was weird,
Mhm.
but we just didn't." And I'm like, "Oh, like,
Even that Allie lady who
yeah."
they
And
end up
she's like,
showing as kind of like a hero at the end, she's mentioning several times she thought something was
right,
off. And at least the way it was set up, whatever happened to him happened after those times she mentioned. So I had the same thought.
right. Like, why are we not stepping in and doing something? I mean, you and I have both been in positions where we're like, this doesn't feel right for kids
Mhm.
involved. We need to say something.
Yes.
Um, and you know, I don't know. I just
Yeah.
I don't we need to protect people. I don't know. I don't know what to say about that.
Yeah.
I just
Yeah,
don't,
we do.
especially vulnerable
Yeah,
people.
I didn't like that.
And I just the victimization of people who are struggling, like that poor guy who shared like who was um molested by the Joby guy.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. The guy from, I wrote it down. Forever in Your Mind.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then he's like, "Well, it had already happened to me before with
When I
like."
was
It's like, "Oh
7.
my god, this poor." And I was like crying because he's like sitting there reliving
Mhm.
this trauma, and you can just tell, like, it's still sitting, so and then he was, like, playing that song and, like, singing, and I was like, it
And
was
then he
so much.
married the alley lady,
Right.
which I guess is fine. He said he was 21 or 22 and she was 28. But again, that felt a
That felt
little
weird.
odd
I don't
because
know.
she knew him when he was a kid
I
and
know.
managed him.
Right.
And 7 years, 6 or 7 years, if someone's 15 or 16 is a lot. So I thought that was kinda weird.
I know.
I mean, I guess they were both full-grown adults when they got married, and they'd been through, like, this trauma or whatever together, so maybe there's that, but I was like, I didn't like that plot
I know.
twist.
I
That made
know.
me feel weird.
That whole episode was really
That was an
hard.
odd one. I did say, like you just said about the staff, but it did seem like when given the chance, the guys from the different groups would try to talk to each other, particularly about Lou when they could.
The thing that pissed me off so much was that fucking guy, Lou Pearlman, got away with so much for so long because he was so rich. And that's it. He had so much power because he had so much money, period, dot. And he could just walk around being a skis. All these groups knew he was a skis, and they knew they could do nothing about it except be like, hey, watch out, don't be alone.
Mm.
All the people who worked for him warned all these boy bands, don't be alone with Lou. And it's like, what? Why? Like, how can we bring down people who are, it just grosses me out. But I mean,
And eventually he was brought down, but
at what
at
cost?
what cost and
How
after how
many
many
years and
incidents, yeah.
how many people? But again, people are in power that shouldn't be in power all the time.
Exactly. Exactly that. What else? Oh, I thought the Bye 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 story was interesting. How that song was so this was a good Johnny Wright moment.
Right.
So the song was written and ready, but then they were going to go to their new label, but they were still technically under Lou's or
Yeah.
whatever. So they were going to perform, I think it was the American Music Awards or something. And so Johnny was like, I knew that Lou's label would keep that song because it was like part of the collection,
Mhm,
whatever the
mhm,
legal
mhm.
terms are. But if they perform it as them, then nobody else is ever going to get to touch this song.
Right, right.
And that's what happened. And even there was like a woman journalist they kept talking
Yeah,
to.
yeah, yeah.
And she
Where
was
do I know her from?
I think she's been on a lot of things
She
like
looks so
E!
familiar to
And
me.
yeah, she was great.
Yeah, she was
But
good.
she was saying that, you know, when she was younger and listening to No Strings Attached, it was like, oh, it's love and heartbreak. And now she listens to it with a lens of like,
Yeah,
this is a breakup with
with
Lou,
Lou.
with the past, with
Uh-huh.
all the stuff. And I was like, that's really interesting. So because they sang it in such a public way, that Lou's company really had no choice but to be like, well, it's yours. Nobody else can sing this song.
Right.
Everybody wants to listen to this
Bye,
song.
bye, bye.
Bye bye. Okay.
That was the worst singing
And
we've
then the
ever done.
Forever in Your Mind group, I didn't know anything about them
Same.
until
Never heard of them.
because they were a little later, and that was really interesting because they brought them on, and then they were like on a Disney show, not as that, but just as actors.
Right.
And then kind of became a group after that. And then that was the kid we already talked about, Ricky. I thought that Joey Fatone's bankruptcy story was good.
Yeah.
It was short. I don't think he ever did file, but like he was getting to the point where he had to change some stuff. He had to sell his house. But I appreciated what he said. He said, you know, people are like so mean about it, but like, you know, we're singers, we're whatever. Like, I don't have a business degree. And like, you think what we've always said too.
I know.
People think that these stars, movie stars, TV stars, performers must be multimillionaires. And most of the time they're not. Like the Dawson's Creek stars, like that's the same story. You think, oh, they must be like James Van Der Beek and all that, but they're not. And so I appreciated that Joey was like, I had to like move my family and with my parents for a year. And then I just had to keep working and getting out there and hustling. And thankfully things have like turned around. And I was like, I like that because it wasn't just like oh, this is what happens to people. It was him being like, that's what happened to me.
Right.
And it's okay now.
Yeah.
But it's just a good like thing to know. And people don't need to be mean about it.
Yeah. I mean, like we said before when we talked about James Van Der Beek,
Mhm.
you don't know the whole story of anyone's life, really. We know what we're seeing, like what we see in headlines, but
Mhm.
that's just a snippet. And like financial stuff is tricky AF.
It is.
It's Katie knows. She'd be going all kinds of stuff with her business.
Yeah, it's crazy and like just because something looks super successful and maybe it is.
Right.
NSYNC
Oh,
was
sure. Oh, of
super
course.
successful. You see Joey Fatone on a game show, like that still doesn't necessarily equate like the lifestyle or whatever. So I thought that was
Yeah.
good. Like it was a short little bit. They didn't draw it out, but also I know he's a producer, so the fact that he even like talked about it and
Yeah,
brought it in. I was
'cause
like,
he
well,
coulda
good.
left it
He
out,
could have
yeah.
left that out. I did think it was interesting that female journalists said that the male suicide rate for young performers is like 20 times higher than the average suicide rate,
Yeah, I missed that piece.
and that people don't necessarily think that with young male performers,
Well,
but that it's a very high suicide rate.
mental health in males too is tricky too because
Mhm.
they're patriarchy. Men are not encouraged from a very young age to talk about their feelings and everything. Like, not like women are like super encouraged, but you know what I'm saying? It's a lot harder for men to be vulnerable and open up because of what society tells you. And I
Yeah.
think that is true whether you're in a boy band or not.
And Jeff from 98 Degrees talked about
Oh
that.
yeah, and I'm
How
glad
he
he
almost
did.
jumped off a balcony, like
God,
sat there and
yeah.
thought about it. Wasn't even under the influence of
No.
anything. Everything was just so overwhelming.
Yeah.
And I just thought that was important. I did not know that LFO wrote the songs Summer Girls and
Uh-huh.
Girl on TV. I was like, that's so
I
cool.
mean, they're not that
No,
well
they're not.
written.
But like they sound like someone would just crank it out in like a pop music
Yeah.
songwriting camp or something. But they like the
A
Girl on TV
songwriting
was
camp.
a songwriting camp. New idea. Write that down, Sarah. I need to do a songwriting camp. And that, really was about Jennifer Love Hewitt because they really liked or one of the guys really liked her. And I just thought that was really cute.
And she was in that video. I totally forgot.
Yeah.
I love that.
I love how the TRL lady was like, Jennifer Love Hewitt was a babe. Is a babe.
She still is.
And that TRL lady, let's talk about her for a second.
Okay.
So she was a producer and a creator of TRL. She's
Yeah.
one of the co-creators. And so she had her little computer up and she was scrolling through like old log lines from it and really basically like reading where the different things that were voted. That was such a cool show.
Yeah.
I loved that show.
Yeah.
That was really fun. And then I just said 3 members of LFO died, which we already talked about.
That's all you wrote down?
No, just about that. Like about LFO.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, I just mean like I said that,
That's
but
just
we already
tragic.
talked about it. Poor guy.
That poor guy. Okay, wait. Pausing. Going back to him. You know how in like the episodes they'll show you like a preview for like the
Mhm.
next episode.
Yeah.
I did not like how they edited it to make it look like he was crying about something that happened with Lou Pearlman. Did you notice this?
I guess I didn't notice that.
Okay, because for the they like had a preview for the second episode because the end of the first episode they allude to what they're going to be talking about,
Right.
and they show him crying after Ashley says something like things weren't as they seemed with Lou, and but then I was like, well, he wasn't even involved in that. They
Right.
used him crying about people dying.
Yeah, that was a weird
It was a
teaser.
weird edit. I did
That was
not
a
like
weird
that.
teaser. Yeah, I didn't like that
I didn't
either.
like that.
I don't like that either. AJ talked about his struggles in this one too, which we talked about when we talked
Right.
about Backstreet Boys. And then the Backstreet Boys footage they had in this of them in the sphere
I know.
was so cool. Oh my gosh. That was so cool. And then I said, plot twist, Ricky and Allie got married. That was the one I already talked to.
Yeah, I know.
And then I just said I felt bad for Lance's parents not because of Lance, but because of everyone else getting like kicked out of churches and having to basically, like, I'm sure, stand up for your kid, but you're doing it in small, rural, like, it's not like you're in a huge city. You can just kind of go somewhere else.
No, and it's hard being the one, and as somebody who was in this place, and you may have been at some point in your life too, as somebody who is in a religious building who really believes the faith that you are practicing, but thinks that the institution you're in is really broken and you're one of the only voices trying to call attention to what's going, like, to be like, this is not, we're saying this, but we're not doing this. That's very hard. And then to have your child also be part of the piece where they're saying bad things about and you can't be here because you're loving your child and supporting your child. It's like, I don't know. That's just, it's sad. I feel for his parents. I wonder
do
if they're
too.
still in church.
I don't know. He mentioned that they kept, I mean, that's an interesting question. We could probably look into that. But my parents, I always wondered how and why they could still be so devoted to church.
Right.
Like, not so much when I was younger because I would just go with them. So,
Yeah,
like,
just
whatever.
whatever,
But
yeah.
after they had such a bad experience
yeah.
with church, and then we went to a church that was fine, like, whatever. It was evangelical. I was growing up. And then they had a little bit of a falling out there. But then they would just keep finding a different church. And at some point in my mind, I'm like, but why? Like,
Well, because I can tell you why. Because I did that before I just left completely. I kept thinking, okay, there's gonna be a church that is XYZ.
mhm.
And then you realize you go somewhere and you think, okay, this might be it. And then it's like, actually, no. And then you go to the next one and you're like, "Oh, this isn't it either." And then I realized quickly, like, oh, well, this isn't because I don't really believe this. And fine, whatever.
Yeah, and that's what happened to me. And that's what I'll just say if people ask me about like my belief system, specifically people I knew from childhood, but even just new friends now, if it comes up, I'll just say you can't make yourself believe something you don't believe anymore.
And then
And that's it. It's as simple as that.
and I will say, losing your faith and realizing what you have put so much time and love and care and truly belief in, realizing this is not real. That is a really hard place to be.
It is.
And I can remember, like, because this was just a few years ago for me, so it's very, very fresh. I know yours was like a lot longer ago. I can remember talking to my husband being like, I don't believe this at all anymore. And I said, I haven't even said this out loud to anyone because I wrestled with it for a long time before I was like, this, because it's not like you wake up one day.
No.
It's like a very gradual unraveling. And it's just like when you like realize something, it's like usually it takes a while before you're like, oh, because then you see this thing and then you see that thing. And then it's
Mhm.
like patriarchy, for instance. Once you notice
Once you
it,
see
you
it.
can't unsee
Yeah.
it. And then you see it more and more and more. And so I was just like, I don't believe this at all. And it's crazy because you base your whole life around
Mhm.
this belief system. And when that crumbles, you're like, well, what's there now? Like,
Mhm.
what what is my foundation now? Because that's what I've been saying for the longest time. And then you have to kind of figure that out. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's an interesting, maybe we should do an episode. We
Maybe
should
we
have a
should.
serious series and
We
just do one
should.
episode.
Just one. One serious. And I will say they don't go to, they being my parents, I don't know about Lance's parents, to organize church anymore, but that's more because of my mom's condition. And I will say
Right.
the people that they know from this church, other churches, whatever, do take good care of my parents. You know, they bring them dinner and they
Oh,
check on them. And so that's good.
yeah.
But I just remember kind of thinking, why would you keep going back? But you're right. It wasn't I think that they still, I mean, totally speaking for them because I don't know, and I could probably just ask my dad and he would tell me. But that they craved that spiritual connection and that community, like you said,
Right.
and that they felt like perhaps they could find that what they were looking for
And you keep
somewhere.
trying and you keep
Yeah.
hoping. Well, I've said before, some of the best people and the worst people I've ever met have been in a church. I'm not kidding. Some of the absolute best people and some of the absolute worst people have been in a church. Now, church is made by men. Like, I
Hmm.
mean,
Yeah. I mean, there's just no
both
way around that.
figuratively and literally.
Right. Right. Yeah.
And there's
Literal.
no way around that. But honestly, so is religion.
Hmm.
We created that. And I know no matter where you are and what you believe, that is true. Like,
Hmm.
people created religion. So,
Yeah.
we're broken
We
and
are.
we cry.
Do you have anything else on the second episode?
No, it was just a
Okay, whew, let's put it
lot.
behind us. Let's put it behind us. So, episodes 3 and 4 then
I
were
don't really have
pretty
any notes on
short.
that
They were
one.
only like 21 minutes each. The first one was called Deep Cuts, and the second one was called Deeper Cuts. And then there was a little disclaimer at the beginning of both of them, or explainer, that said there were just some things that didn't fit
Right,
into
right.
our editing, but we wanted to include them. So, this third episode, I said, I wonder why JC, Justin, and Chris aren't in it.
I know. I want to know.
Then it all kinda, so the third one kind of went into stories about just the craziness of being that
Yeah.
famous, like
Yeah.
crazy fans, weird, like, letters. Ashley said someone, like, carved his
Ugh.
name in their arm and was, like,
What?
bleeding, and Justin's arm got pulled by a fan and, like, had to have, like, some kind of medical, and then the balls story that I already told, but hearing them tell it was really
I know. I know.
funny.
I know.
I love Joey Fatone.
I know. She got a new crush.
I think I do.
She does.
I didn't back then, but man,
She got a new one.
he's so funny. He's good looking. I don't know.
And Sarah got to meet him. She sent us a picture and she said he was really nice.
Yeah, that selfie at Anne Juliet. I gotta find out if he's still in that and I gotta go
He's
see it.
not, I don't think. I think his
It
run
was
is
just
done.
I'll keep an eye on him. I'll find him somewhere. See?
She got
That sounded crazy. That
I'll
sounded
keep
crazy.
an eye on him.
I'm watching you.
I'm watching you, Joey Fatone.
Joey, whatever you're in next, game show, Broadway, I'm there. I did like the moment where NSYNC was singing the national anthem at the Mets versus Yankees baseball game. And they said people started to boo them before they even started. But then they sang and they played some of the footage. I wish they would have played the whole thing, but I know, like, there's only so much time. And we all know the national anthem. You don't have to play the whole thing. But they did sound freaking amazing. And they sang it a cappella. And they said by the end, people were like, wow.
Well, it reminded me of what happened to Backstreet Boys when they were on that school tour. They were like, let us cook. And they did.
And they're like, just hold on. Let us sing. Yeah.
We
so
got
I thought that was really cool. Oh, okay. So then we had like this kind of, they didn't really call it racial profiling in the episode. I guess maybe they figured we could figure it out for ourselves. But that Eric guy from O-Town and the red BMW.
Right.
How he got pulled over. He was speeding. But instead of just getting a ticket or whatever, the guy made him get out and said, I don't like dopers. Like assuming he was a drug dealer. And then he got arrested, but then he got bailed out. And it was funny, though, because, like, the extent that they went to not show that he got arrested. Because I'm like,
I know.
You didn't really, you weren't drunk.
No.
You weren't, I don't know. Like, I just thought, I mean, I get it. They had to have squeaky clean and people would make whatever out of the headlines, I guess. But he was like, oh, Lou was so pissed at me and all the guys were mad at me. And I'm like, you were racially profiled.
Like, you weren't even doing anything.
You were speeding, which most people would get a ticket.
How about call attention to the fact that of why you got pulled over in the first place?
Right.
Or, well, he was speeding, so that's why he got pulled over.
Correct.
But how he was treated.
He shouldn't have been arrested.
Right.
Even for reckless driving, they can, I mean, if you're drunk or something, sure. But, like, they can still issue you reckless driving with a court date later.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they don't have to arrest you, depending what level of it is. But it sounds like he just, like, passed someone too fast.
Yeah.
He wasn't, like, in a school zone or drinking and driving or anything like that. I don't know. Now, and they didn't, like, say that in the episode. Maybe they figured, well, these intelligent people watching this will put 2 and 2 together. But it didn't feel like he realized that.
Right.
When he was
maybe that's how
they
edited it.
True. Maybe he said more about it. Maybe he said, oh, it's because I was blah, 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 and it just wasn't there.
Yeah.
All right. So the 4th episode, I'll just quickly tell you what I have in my notes. Okay, so this was cute, but it kind of goes back to what we were saying at the top about Boys to Men and then all these white boy groups. Jeff from 98 Degrees.
The bodybuilder guy looking.
Bodybuilder guy. Said he was, I don't know, young teens in Ohio and hard to say goodbye to yesterday. Is that what it's called? Hard to say goodbye to yesterday.
The Boys to Men song?
Yeah. The Boys to Men song was on the radio. And he said it came on and he just like put his ear next to it and just like listened to it and said he started calling the radio station.
Yeah, I heard. How do I know this?
I don't know. I have it in part 4. So maybe you did watch it.
No, there was only, I showed you it was on Hulu, girl.
Huh. Unless it was all in just part 3.
I wonder if there's like different cuts on HBO and then they put on Hulu.
Maybe. Was it showing that part 4 is coming or did it just not show it?
It didn't show it.
Maybe they put them together. Was it like 40
minutes? It was only
minutes?
like 20 minutes.
Oh, that's so weird. That's really weird. Because I like segmented it by what I watched.
Weird.
Well, anyway.
Okay.
So that was cute. And he said he kept calling the radio station to get them to play it again.
Remember doing that?
Yes.
Oh my God. I won so many things on the radio.
That's awesome.
I won 311 tickets one time and then I didn't pick them up from the radio station in time.
Why?
Because I didn't have a car. I was like 15. And my mom was like, I don't have time to drive you down there. And then I didn't get them in time.
Oh,
I know. I won all kinds of stuff. I won tickets to something else. I would call all the time and request stuff. Remember that? That was some good days. That was good days.
Now, like, DJs aren't really live.
I know.
They just pre-record most things.
That.
There are, like, morning shows where I think they're live.
Shout out to Mindy at, what's the radio station here? She always does the Gateway to Space Race. She's so nice. She's on, like, the Light Rock station. Okay. 99.3, I think it is. Anyway, she's amazing, and she is so fun to listen to. She's on in the morning, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, there's not a lot.
Right. But it's a much smaller amount of content like that now.
And your husband used to be on the radio.
Yeah. And he'll know, like, we'll be listening to something, he'll be like, that's pre-recorded.
Yeah, you can tell.
That's pre-recorded. You know, like, and I'm like, yeah, he did radio for years. And he pre-recorded stuff. Like, he would go in and record stuff for a week, whatever it was he was recording, you know, and then be gone. But anyway, okay, so there's that. Let's see what else you know that we didn't know that you knew.
Unless I don't know. I don't know, guys.
That's where Johnny Wright told the party story about not letting Kevin go to the party.
Okay, so then maybe I didn't see episode 3, but
Did you
because
hear Joey tell his ball sack story?
I thought I did, but maybe I'm just remembering you tell it.
Maybe, because it was him and like the tour manager guy talking about it, and they were laughing. And the tour manager.
Maybe I didn't.
Maybe you
see
didn't
it.
see 3.
So here's the thing. That's
Okay.
so weird because this is why brains are so crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Because as you're talking, and I think I already knew that O-Town story for some reason or another.
About the BMW?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I don't think I watched that, but this I definitely watched. But on Hulu, it said it was just 3 episodes.
Huh.
That was the 3rd episode on Hulu.
Okay.
And
it must be a different cut then.
Brains are crazy because you told the ball story last time, and I'm thinking, oh yeah, I watched him say it. And now I'm like, wait, I don't think I did.
Yeah.
Weird.
Weird.
Also, y'all excuse me because I have had hardly any sleep the past few days.
It's okay. So then you did hear the story about how little Aaron walked in the party in his
jumped
suit.
in the pool.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I would do that.
I know you would. I actually thought of you.
Well, unless I'd spent a whole lot of time doing my makeup and hair.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck that, I ain't jumping in.
But when you were 9, you would have done that.
I was very body conscious, so probably not.
Okay.
Well, maybe not 9. By the time I was 10, I was like,
so 9-year-old Aaron Carter showed up at a birthday party at Lou's house for AJ and maybe Nick.
I don't remember what was happening.
And with his mom, and he was in this like very cute suit that his mom dressed him up.
Yes.
And he walks straight in, is like pool, and just jumps in.
You know who also would have done that at 9? Cooper. 100.
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
Not now because he's 13 and everything's weird, but
everything's weird. Yeah.
He at 9,
watch out,
and at 4, absolutely.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Caden, no, he would be nicely sitting on the side
in his little suit,
quiet as could
That'd be so cute. I already said this, but Johnny Wright felt bad about Aaron. Oh, the 98 Degrees Boys to Men story. So that was funny.
Right.
Jeff was like, we knew that Boys to Men got backstage at a Will Smith concert to meet Michael Bivins.
Yes.
So we decided we were going to do the same thing.
I know, it's crazy.
And meet Boys to Men. But then, like, they didn't meet them, but they ended up singing for a producer or something.
And then the producer's like, okay, y'all come to this event. And then they drove, like, all night.
20 hours or something.
20 hours. They get there, and they're like, oh, we didn't really think y'all would come. We have no spot for you. I was like, jeez.
And they happened to see Backstreet Boys there.
I was like, that is so crazy.
It was like the Washington State Fair.
Yeah. And I'm like, they went all that way.
Yeah.
And then it's like, just kidding. We didn't think you'd really come.
Yeah.
What?
It's interesting that 98 Degrees, though they looked and sounded a lot like the O-Towns, the Backstreet Boys, the NSYNCs, were closer to a Boys to Men kind of thing for how they came together.
Well, they were older.
They were older.
They were a little older.
Yeah.
And how many of them were there?
I always thought there were 3.
Okay, but where's the third guy?
And isn't the third guy Nick Lachey's brother?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember his first name.
Wait, didn't they have a big falling out? Or is that, I'm thinking of Oasis.
Oasis. Ooh, that's another one we should cover. I bet that would be interesting.
Wait.
Yes. Hold on, I'll look it up.
No, I know Oasis is correct. But
Oasis is correct. I just mean I'll look up who's in 98 Degrees.
We're doing a lot of live research today.
We are.
We're like, we have no research. And we're like, Katie, look it up on the phone.
Look it up, see? Nick Lachey, Drew. That was it. Drew Lachey, Jeff Timmons, and Justin Jeffrey.
That guy. That guy.
Who is this guy? What?
He's that guy. He used to have like lighter hair.
Oh,
that guy.
And
look at that. We're like, there's 3 of them.
I do think Drew Lachey and his brother Nick
look
might
up if they
have
got beef.
out. Okay.
Look it up. Okay. Look it up. See if they got problems.
I'm gonna find out.
Sarah is screaming at us now.
By the way, yes, they hate each other.
Sarah, our friend Sarah, we mention her a lot because y'all need to understand something. This is so funny, and we love it when y'all do this because she's not the only one, but she's the only one that does it consistently. And she will send us these long texts as she's listening to our episodes when she thinks of something.
Yeah.
And
in real time.
And it's hilarious because she knows so much more information than we do. And she's like, I want to be y'all's producer, although I can't be there when you record.
So just keep going. It was funny. She said something about JC writing a concept album.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I said that. You just haven't gotten there yet.
Yeah, you're just not there yet. Hold on, Sarah.
Okay. No. Nick and Drew Lachey do not have public beef.
Wait, is this AI?
I don't know. It's
Katie,
Google. I mean, do you
that's
want me to
AI.
click on the article?
She goes, "What do you want me to do?"
Yeah.
I'm
No,
just
I
like,
mean,
well,
I think they're
we don't know.
okay.
We
Yeah.
don't know. Maybe he just
Yeah.
unavailable.
I mean, this was 2018 where they're
Oh, that's
together
a long
opening
time
a
ago.
bar. I don't know. But
Well,
he
we don't
was,
know.
and it's possible he just didn't want to be on it,
True facts.
you know, because there were other
Well, where's
boy
Jeff?
bands.
No, that guy was
Jeff
on
was
there.
there. It's the
Was
other
it
guy.
the guy with the hair
I don't know.
and the
I already
t-shirts
forgot his name.
sometimes?
The guy with the hair and the t-shirt too. We were like, who is this guy?
Uh,
Well, anyway, he wasn't on it. Whoever that guy is. But yeah. So anyway, what else did I say about this one? Oh, I just said the reminder that Nick Carter has lost 3 siblings to
It's
addiction.
heartbreaking.
Yeah, I
It's
was
just
really
heartbreak. I cannot imagine losing one sibling, but then 3 and losing someone to addiction. God, ugh, and it's just a lot.
it's a lot. And the way that they ended it then, so you would have seen this,
I did.
was kind of Joey Fatone looking at all of like the different awards he
Yeah.
has and all that stuff. I thought it was funny. He goes, I think it was Billboard. He's like, this is Billboard. Do you kids know what a billboard
I know.
is? And then he kept going, and I was like, that's really funny.
Uh,
But he was basically saying, and I think he's correct. He was like, I'm proud of like the span of my time and being in a boy band. I would not be where I am today without it. Justin Timberlake would not be. He's like, sure, could we have all gone on to do like great stuff? Maybe. But these were the springboard things
yeah, it's true.
that made us who we are today. And in the case of Backstreet Boys and New Kids, they're still going, and Boys to Men, they're still going. So, and 98 Degrees pointed out, they're like, we're still a bit, like, we're still together.
Oh, well, then we answered our own question remembering that.
Oh, right. He did say, because Nick Lachey said, I was in, actually, I still am in 98 Degrees.
Although Kevin and Brian be having beef in Backstreet Boys.
It's true.
So, like,
They probably just kind of, that family beef's the worst. Yeah, that's a lot. But I'm glad we watched it, and I'm glad we watched it at the end.
well, I was proud of us too watching it. I was like, we know that already.
Yeah.
We researched that already. We know.
There were even a couple moments that we were like, that's not true.
Right.
Because
Or then,
we
but then, was it not true, or did we just look up the wrong information?
Could be. Could be. It's hard to say.
It's hard to know, guys.
Someone needs to tell us. But yeah, so that was fun. So we are closing out
We're closing.
boy bands. We have some kind of fun content episodes coming up. I mean, they're all fun, but don't worry, we won't do our serious religious one for a bit.
I'm not ready.
We're not ready. But we have some fun content, and we have Zennial Girl Summer coming up where we are going to be
gotta
reading
get those
books
posts together so y'all can
and
prepare.
watching movies. But we've got a couple weeks still before we even launch that. So we've got some other stuff in the meantime.
Don't worry. Just like we did, if you're new around here and you weren't with us last summer, Zennial Girl Summer, we pick a few books from, I don't even remember now what our picks were. I wrote it down. Some Zennial books from the 80s or 90s, classics. We read them and talk about them. And then also we pick some movies from 80s and 90s that we're going to watch and talk about and research. And so we'll post those ahead of time. And did we say, on what day those are going to air? So
Right.
you have time to read the book. And they're not very long books, guys.
Mm-mm.
Well, except Katie's is long.
Mine's really long, guys.
I'll tell you, hers is Anne of Green Gables.
And everyone just cheered.
Except me on the
Except
inside.
Danny.
I'm not pumped about that book. I'm going to do it
You're gonna
because
do
she's
it.
not pumped about some of the ones I picked.
It's true. It's true.
But
It's gonna be
that's
great.
the only one that's long, and we're saving that till the end.
Uh-huh.
The other few are short, and the movies. One of them is Harry and the Hendersons, and if you don't know what that is, I can't wait.
You have to rewatch with us for sure, that one. And don't forget our live event July 3rd.
July 3rd, you have to sign up because people have already signed up and we only have limited tickets.
Yes.
It is free.
It is completely free. And let's say you're like, I want to go, but I hope they don't call on me for trivia. You don't have to play trivia.
No, it's going to be optional. We're going to have real high tech here. We're going to have a big bowl for you to put your name in. If you want to come up and do a few trivia questions, you don't get to pick whether you're against me or Katie.
You don't.
But guess what? Chances are the same either way that you will probably beat us.
Probably. Yes. Yes.
And yep. So you have a chance to be on an episode. We're going to record it live exactly like we are here. It's going to be a fucking
We're just
mess.
moving it to a different location.
Can't wait.
I'm taking it all. And one last thing I wanted to say, because we haven't asked for a while, is that if you have been listening to us for a little while and you have not left a review where you
we
listen,
need that.
Please do. And not just a review, but if you can include words that make sense for people looking for a podcast like ours. only words that make sense. Let me try that again. Words that people would be looking for to find us. So, for example,
If you could only use words that make sense, please, that'd be great.
not like all those other reviews. Just kidding. All of the reviews we have so far are wonderful. And it doesn't matter where you do it, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever. But include like retro podcasts, 80s, 90s podcasts, pop culture, things like that.
Oh, it's
so
gotta
that
be
if someone's
keywords. I didn't know that.
I would do like, it doesn't have to be. You could just be like, Katie and Danny are great. And that's wonderful. And people might find that. But if they're looking for the type of content we have,
Got you.
it's helpful for reviews to say that.
Cool.
So something like that helps a lot. And you can also follow us on YouTube. We're getting close to 100 subscribers.
Also, our
80s.
TikTok followers has grown a lot too out of nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
So listen, we're getting traction.
Traction. Keep the wheels rolling, guys.
I was like, ooh, we're almost to the triple digits.
Look, 2026 live event at Funky Dog Improv.
That's gonna be so much fun.
2027 Radio City Music Hall. Here we
Why
come.
not? You know what's funny though? I was like, I feel like it's just gonna be a night with a bunch of our friends. And that's amazing.
It's going to be great.
But you know what? It's almost like we have to have a special event to have time where we're all in the same place.
It's
so
true.
that's fine.
It's fun. And if you aren't somewhere local anyway and you can't come anyway, it'll still be fun because we're recording it all and we're going to share it all.
Can we live stream this? No, we're not dealing with that. Never mind. Just kidding.
Honestly, it's probably not that hard, so we'll look into it.
But honestly,
it's probably just a button.
It's just going to be right. But then we have to deal with using Funky Dog's Wi-Fi and all that.
Okay. I mean, they have Wi-Fi.
She's like,
what's wrong with that?
That's not the problem. What I have been trying to tell Katie is we need to keep this like as easy as possible.
True.
And Katie's like, we could do a raffle. We can. And I'm like, no. Y'all know what I have is an Old Navy bag full of shit that we're going to just say, put your hand in.
I actually love that. We need to put Polar Fleece in that Old Navy bag.
Oh, actually, that's actually a good idea.
Yeah. Okay.
And then like, we don't need, like, I guess one of us is going to, well, we're going to have our setup. We can do that before people get there.
Easily.
And then we'll have to be working the door because I don't want to ask anybody else to do it. I want people to just come and have a good time.
That's true.
Now, if people want to help us clean up, we're
there.
Do that.
We're there. Take out the trash. Thank you.
Yeah. You can help us put chairs away and take out trash and buy lots of drinks from Funky Dog. So make them some money for
hosting us. Which is really, really nice. Yeah.
And then throw some money at us. We're not taking our clothes off.
No. And we're not throwing pies at each other.
Oh, that.
Yet. Which has been a request.
Wouldn't that be funny if we did that as our finale?
On the live show?
I'm not doing it. You got to give me, that's got to be an OnlyFans situation. I need money for that.
That's probably worth a lot of money. So we shouldn't just let that go for free.
A lot of money is debatable, but
$20. I don't know. All right, guys. Well, definitely come to our event if you can. Leave us a review, please, wherever you listen. And we will see you next time here on Generation in Between. Bye. Bye.